The opinions expressed in this show belong to the person expressing them. They do not purport to reflect the opinions or views of Rancher or any other entity. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Coffee and Cloud Native. My name is Adrian Goins, and I'm jazzed up to be here with you today on this fine Thursday. The purpose of this show is to share with you news and interesting content related to Kubernetes and Cloud Native, and to build a community of people who are interested in using technology to live a better life. If you're watching live, consider following or subscribing to the channel, and if you're watching a replay, give the video a thumbs up so the YouTube algorithm shares it with other people. Join the free community site and the Discord server. Links to that are in the video description and scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Now, live chat happens in Discord with a bot that relays between YouTube and Twitch. So come hang out with us either during the show or after. And as you'll see in a minute, live chat's where the real action happens. I'm feeling a little bit subdued today. I only got about 5.5 hours of sleep last night for reasons that I was already explaining to some of you in the live chat. But let's go say hi. Wifebot, good morning. Nuno, Samuel Dan, hello. Stephen K. Peter Keach, Ian. Oh my gosh, The Rock. Thanks, Captain Justin. Chrysalis, good morning. All right. Frank, scrolling back. James P. Thank you all for joining us today. Scion X. Da-da-da. Who else we got back here? Early. Wojtek, Chaish. People showing up early on, and starting the conversation. Did I say hi to Clint? If not, hello, Clint. All right, so that's all I got time for the scrolling because, like other days this week, there's just madness. First of all, of course, this week is the hot seat. Ellie is going to run a giveaway in live chat, which I've just kicked off. So Ellie's going to run a 5-minute giveaway in a live chat channel here on Discord. I will call that person over Discord, whoever wins, and bring them on the show with me to do the A/B test right here, right now. It's called the hot seat because if you win, you have no idea what Trufflebot is going to show us, and I barely have any idea. So I'll present the content to you and everyone else, and then we'll spend a few seconds talking about it before we move on to the next item. So while that's happening, let me just go ahead and pin that. I gotta scroll all the way back down to the bottom here. We got 3 people who are willing to join the hot seat today. That's great. I know it's a little scary, but everybody who's been on so far has done really, really well. I mean, it's not like it's a game show. We just talk about whatever, and if you have no idea or I don't have anything to say, that's totally fine too. Oh, Juan Pablo says he likes the new intro. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Nooks. Okay, point for Nuno. Oh, technically only 2. Okay, yes, thank you, Chrysalis. You're right, because Ellibot counts one of them for itself. So, real quick, news. It's Policy Month this week. It's Policy Month this month. And check out the post that I made for the weekly challenge in the community site yesterday. It's actually right here. Where I challenge all of you to just go deploy something. Kyverno or OPA, something that does admission control and policy management in your Kubernetes cluster, and then just come back and talk about it. Gave you some resources, and of course, if you already have something like this deployed, then just tell us what you've got and help the other people along. I'll be doing this too. I don't have any of this stuff deployed anywhere or actually in use, so we're all in this together. I want to also thank everybody who's been adding bios yesterday. I saw a bunch of you did that when I went into the site today. That's cool. If you didn't do that yet, please go and do that. There are really cool people in the community, and I'm betting that you're one of them. So come and tell us about yourself. And then, of course, tomorrow is the brain dump, where we will be giving away the complete traffic training course again. That's what everybody's been voting on in the community. I'm going to leave the vote poll thing running. And if we get more votes throughout the course of the month, maybe we'll change it to something else. Won't that be exciting? Yeah, so while we're waiting, how much time do we got left on this thing here? Pinned messages. We got 2 minutes left. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the next section. which is, of course, the A/B test. The collector bots have gathered candidates for the show, and Trufflebot has scored them from 1 to 5 coffees, corresponding to a 75 to 100% probability of being interesting content. He'll post them one at a time in the A/B test channel on Discord, and I'll load them up. Anyone who's watching live can rate them in Discord, and the final scores are shown when we move to the next item. Total rating for all items shown on the show is used to rate the show itself, and in the future, I'll use that to refine the machine learning model. We just have to collect a whole bunch of data about it. So first up today, let me get to the right channel. For today, we have... Hey, how convenient is that? Our first item is the second article on exploring Kyverno from Chip Zoller. We had the intro on yesterday, and I was talking to him yesterday, and he pointed out that, well, he'd already published the next part of the series. So here you are, and this is perfectly timed if you want to get started with Kyverno. Yesterday was an intro to what it is, but now Chip's going to actually start to walk you through what you can do with it. So check it out. Is it weird that, like, y'all see the thing 10 seconds before you actually see me talk about it? Or is it cool? Do you feel like you're psychic? Because I know that, like, it's in real time in the chat, but then there's the delay of the live stream. I don't know. There's nothing I can do about it. So if it is weird, oh well. Next up, man, we have so much reInvent content. I had more content than I could get on the show today, and more than I could even get in the backlog, because it's all so apropos for this particular moment in time. So I was just tossing stuff into Discord last night and sharing stuff with Shipwreck, things that I wish I could put on the show, but there just wasn't time. And in fact, today we really need to burn through a lot of stuff because there's one thing that's coming up later. Well, whatever, so we'll just burn. So here you go. Aqua says the new EKS distro, Aqua works with it. When I decided to put this on the show, it was before reading the actual article itself. And while the article is good, there's not actually anything special about Aqua and EKSD, which I didn't realize until this morning, but I left it in there anyway. If you're not using Aqua, take a look at it. This presents information about their open source tools as well as their paid products and what it can do. And it can do all of this for any Kubernetes cluster. So they're just being like, yay, EKSD. And they're like, we're going to surf that wave for a second to build some publicity, which is also totally fine. So this is actually really just an article about Aqua does stuff for Kubernetes and also for EKSD because, well, EKSD is a Kubernetes distribution. Something beeped in my ear, which means I'm guessing we have a winner. Who won? Pin post, pin message. Nuno. All right, my friend. I'm going to call you on this Discord thing. So I might figure out how to do that here. Nuno. Why can't I call you? Right-click user for more actions. Right-click user for more actions. I'm trying to right-click the user. Ah. All right, I'm just going to go find you actually in... This isn't supposed to be this difficult. It's like, it tells me to right-click, but like there's nowhere to actually right-click. It just keeps, because it's a browser thing. View profile, let's start there. And, dude, why can't I call you? Let's message you. Can I call you now? Hey, there we go. Start a voice call. You don't need to call me, my friend. I've called you. Hello.
Hello. So just a second. Let me... Okay. So now I have the video and the sound in different time zones.
Good, because otherwise it's even weirder. So
Yeah.
you are live on the show, so everybody can hear you. So don't say anything that that you don't want going out on the internet. But let's start by tell everybody who's watching who you are, what you do, and if you want to say hi to anybody or give a shout out or anything, go for it.
So Yeah, so first, hi everyone, and hi everyone in the CNCN community. Amazing work you've done here, Adrian. Really,
Oh,
really appreciate it, believe me.
thank you.
Who I am? Okay, so I'm Nuno do Carmo. I'm a Portuguese in Switzerland, and I'm a fan of WSL, huh? Right? So
Yes, you are.
actually, I do not work in let's say technical field at all. I'm a global learning management system administrator, and that has nothing to do with cloud native actually. And yeah, and so since 3 more years, I've been like using a lot of WSL in the background to learn Docker, to learn Kubernetes, and so on. And nowadays, I try actually to bring all that to the Windows world because we're missing a little bit of that. So yeah, sorry, long intro, but yeah, that's me, and that's why it's always a bit, let's say, weird my blogs, because I'm always taking like this hobbyist approach, and sometimes I'm missing, like, say, the pro side. Here we go.
Nah, but I think that's actually good. Your blogs are fantastic because they're the experimentation aspect. The I don't know how to do this, so let's figure out how to do this means that you find possibly more practical ways to do things or faster ways to do things. Ultimately, what matters is that the thing gets done and that it gets done effectively. And I think you nailed that on the head with everything that you do.
Thank you, really appreciate it.
So, is there anyone you want to say hi to?
Like I said, the full CNCN community first,
Oh, you're saying hi to
and
everybody. Okay. I was thinking like
yeah,
your
yeah,
mom
like
or your
oh
family.
no, not listening for sure. So actually, I to Lisa, because she's been the great supporter and great challenger, and give for bestie, and
Nice.
yeah, and Jan and Frank, Mac, and sorry for all the names and or yeah that I'm forgetting, but the CNCN community definitively.
All right, cool. Well, let's get back into this A/B test
Yep.
thing. Let me move on to the next one. I have some good content for us to talk about today. Next up, so there's a lot of stuff that's going on around. Whoops, let me get back to the browser window there. There's a lot of stuff that's going on around this Docker announcement from yesterday, and I've got more stuff coming up on that here in a second. But if you've watched the show for any length of time, I'm talking to the audience now, not to you, Nuno, because Nuno, you absolutely have watched the show the entire time. So anybody who's watched the show for any length of time remembers when we were talking about the Docker rate limits and the registry changes and stuff like that. So this popped up yesterday in that Canonical has now taken their entire Docker image portfolio and put it up on Amazon ECR, both for public and private images with things you can get support for and stuff, and just made the whole thing available. What do you think, Nuno?
Okay. Disclaimer: I love Canonical as much as almost Microsoft's, and I have friends there. So I to the friends at Canonical. Secondly, that's for me a bit weird in the timing, because just less than 1 week ago, actually Canonical did the other announcement that they put their long time servicing LTS images in
Mm-hmm.
Docker Hub, and like
Really?
1 week later, yeah, so Docker has an article and Canonical has an article on that. That is like just 1 week ago from then moving to the ECR public.
So
So
they're hedging their bet. It sounds like.
yeah, so I like seeing that happening now with all the, let's say, all happening with Docker Hub and everything. Again, full disclaimer, I'm Docker captain, so I again,
So you're
I
not going to
love
say
Docker. I will say
anything yet.
I will love everything. No, I'm being frank. So I love
Yeah.
Docker. What we discuss, and I've been open to them and here in the community, that the communication could have been a bit better indeed, especially
Mm-hmm.
when we work it out a little bit internally, not at Docker, but at least with the Captors channel.
Mm-hmm.
So it came out good, but not perfect for sure. But now it's like Canonical suddenly is like, yeah, double betting. And for me, it was like I would have waited maybe a little bit more, because I thought it was like really like, okay, let's put Docker as the base image for certain applications by default.
Mm-hmm.
and we are, let's say, helping Docker Hub, even though there's rate limits or not. But now, like literally 1 week later, we have already the EKS public registry. So cool, but I don't know. Seems a bit, let's say, early for me.
So they should have waited until the third week of reInvent, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Till everybody was tired and nobody
note.
noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
No, but
more. All right. Have you voted on this?
yeah, definitively. Oh, sorry, I did vote, and now that
Okay.
you said it, so yeah, I voted 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I voted 4. So let's move on to the next one then. This next one comes to us from. Who is this? This is actually a company that I've not heard of. I'm trying to find their name here. But anyway, it's about building a CI/CD process.
Riskified.
Yeah, Riskified. Thank you. Oh, it's in the URL. Look at that, man! You're gonna steal the show from me. So it's about building a CI/CD process that developers actually care about, and I thought that was an interesting approach. All of this conversation about Kubernetes and like, oh, we need to take care of the developers. Like developers are a special animal that doesn't. I don't know. I think it's overplayed. But I do believe that the developer needs are different from the operator needs, and that those like we need to find a way to fit together that doesn't necessarily have to even be DevOps. In this article, I found some interesting items. One, I like that their CI/CD deployment solution is just GitOps. So like from the beginning, just use GitOps because it's the best thing out there to do what you want it to do. But then further down, let's see if I can find this. So she asks, what will make our developers engaged in the CI process? But then I wish that I could like highlight articles so that I could find the things in them later. But basically, so here it is. So make developers operate their CD process. So make it easy to understand so the developer can build and apply Kubernetes configurations. But instead of like the developer does one thing and then they like fire something over the wall to some process that they don't own, get them to own it so that they believe in it, and that's a key component to getting them to use it. And then the last thing that, before I hand this over to Nuno to tear apart, is her recommendation was use Helm charts. That Helm charts are just the thing to use for the easiest way to deploy stuff. And I wanted to point out that if you don't want to make a Helm chart, there are solutions like Rancher's Fleet that will take customize or standard YAML or Helm charts, but convert it all into a Helm chart to deploy downstream. So Helm charts, I absolutely agree, are the way to go, but you don't necessarily have to take stuff that you currently have and make it into a Helm chart. Nuno, how much development do you do in any capacity?
Zero.
Zero. Okay. So what do you think about the need to have a CI/CD solution that developers are more invested in when it comes to Kubernetes?
Right. So I'm totally out of the CI/CD, even though it's part of the Kubernetes world, and I get it. Even Docker, I get it totally. Sincerely, okay, shocker, I never put like a CI/CD process in place at all. I'm always like trying to use the tools, make them work together, but never, because I don't do development at all. And that's not for development, all development, right? But I tend to use the tools already done. So I never have the chance, or had the chance, let's say, to look at what's coming prior that. Now, what I like though, in all the article, is that they are basing themselves, like you said, in, let's say, standardization or future standardization, like the Helm charts. So they don't try to reinvent the wheel. They just like, I would say a bit like when I read the blogs, right, or other people around, is like, try to look at what we have currently, and then try to adapt the tools between themselves. And yeah, I love the schema, and I love like, okay, we have GitOps in place, so how to really use it for developers. And I get this DevOps still, like I'm more an operational person, so I will tend more to try to implement things and then try to see how they work. But yeah, CI/CD not for me, sorry. But I like yeah, reusing the standardization though.
All right. So let's fix the voting on that. Oh, fix the voting. That's the wrong term. Let's finalize the voting on that. And
So that.
next up, we have a follow-up to yesterday. Yesterday, when I talked about EKSD coming out, I showed you just a random README from Rancher that said that you can use this with RKE2. And I didn't realize that Rancher actually published a blog 2 days ago with like step-by-step instructions on how to use EKSD with RKE2. The end. That I have nothing else to say about it except that it's out there.
Nice. Yeah. So
Go ahead. No, you go.
No. Sorry. Your show. Go ahead. I was just about to say like EKS distro. I don't know what's exactly to propose, but that's okay.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like everybody's all excited about you can. It's basic. It's almost like there's some field of biology where they take a cell and they like extract all of the actual DNA from it and then they stick something else into it and then it becomes something different. I feel like that's what we're doing. We're taking like RKE2 and we're like sucking out all of the RKE2 part and putting EKSD into it. And when I was talking to the Rancher engineers the other day, I was like, why? Like, why are we doing this?
Like RKE2 like helping deploy, let's say, on or with, I don't know what is the good terminology here, but the EKS distro is actually good for Amazon. Like RKE, we know it, and again, I'm not working for Rancher, so I can say everything I want, I guess.
Say what you like.
No, RKE is one of the easiest way to deploy Kubernetes, like full-fledged Kubernetes, right? So everyone, we had the chat the other day going around about that. So whenever RKE or let's say Rancher takes his hands on a product that's the let's say the post that you put like is like, okay, you should install this, install that, oh, here is the images, and you can build them by yourself if you want, and that's it, kind of like it's a GitHub like down to the minimum. And now suddenly you have like RKE2 like say, okay, we know how to do things, we know how to deploy, do you want us to deploy? Of course they will say yes. So the win here, nice for RKE2, but the big win here is like if it's get easy to deploy, is get easily used by the community and other professionals. So Amazon here is on the winning side, I would say.
Again, I would agree with that. I don't. Yeah, I don't know why. Other than the argument of you want like a test environment that's the same as your actual EKS cluster stuff. Like, okay, I can get that. But otherwise, if you're going to use all of the command infrastructure around RKE2, why not just run RKE2? Like, why do you want to swap it out with EKS? Unless there's some component of EKSD that is so much better than everything else, that the only thing I've seen so far is Amazon says it runs a lot of clusters and it's really stable. And okay, well, that's fair as well. I'm interested to see how this plays out. We won't have time to get to it today, but also later on in the list of stuff for today, somebody has the same thing for K0S, Mirantis's K3S clone distro, where like you can swap out the K0S components with EKSD. So I'm interested to see how this plays out over time and what the real value of it is, or if it's just like people are excited because it's neat and shiny right now.
Yeah. But again, I think once you have RKE2 helping the install, I mean, it's okay. People will use it.
Okay.
And just compare it. Like, try to run the GitHub page against deploying with RKE2, and you will like, I mean, not you, right? The community and others.
Right.
You will directly understand why it's so good.
Yeah, I agree that the deployment methodology around RKE or within RKE is. It's almost like the gateway drug to Kubernetes. It's just so easy to make changes, tear apart your cluster, build it differently, go from one etcd node to 3 and back down again. All right, let's try and do one more. Okay, good. This is actually really good. So we'll do... Yeah, this is a good one to close on. As you know, Kubernetes 1.20 is coming out, and it deprecates support for the Docker container runtime because it's not CRI compliant. And people are freaking out about what does it mean, and they don't necessarily realize that Docker is actually a runtime orchestration with Swarm, a build function, and a network function. And the only part of that Kubernetes needs is the container runtime, which is actually already containerd, but Docker doesn't expose containerd via a standard CRI interface. So the Kubernetes community is like, well, okay, fine, you can just get the heck out. This article explains what it means, and it actually at the top has a link to another article on the Kubernetes blog that also explains what it means. And our own Dan Pop contributed to this article. I didn't see that earlier. Also, in the tweets and the links and stuff that go out later today, I will have links to Sysdig's breakdown of everything in Kubernetes 1.20, and you can find more information about the deprecation of it in there. We've beat this horse to death in the Discord server, so I'm not going to add more stuff here, but Nuno, do you have anything you want to throw out to people who might be concerned about the deprecation coming in 1.20?
Right. Don't be.
Don't be concerned about it.
So quick. No. Don't panic. That's the right title. Okay. So second disclaimer. So it's nice you get me here, and I know there's tool of the day still. But anyway, I'm also a CNCF ambassador, and today when I connected to the Slack, it was like an explosion, literally speaking. And what they are starting to actually change, there will be a FAQ, I think, coming out. Okay. But then there will be also Docker is not really Docker, it's Docker Shim, right? Yeah. Or Shim, or I don't know how you say it. But anyway,
Docker Shim, that's right.
Yeah, Shim. Okay, perfect. So that is removed from the, let's say, the kubelet part, okay? So kubelet will directly use containerd. Now, Docker used containerd since like 2017. That was the blog post that Smalls put on. So Docker is Docker. If you have to deploy containers, if you have to use Docker, just use Docker. Don't get concerned about if you will implement Kubernetes 1.20, because even when you run Kubernetes, if you do a Docker container ls or Docker ps, right, you don't see containers running inside Kubernetes, right? So Kubernetes has its own, let's say, Docker inside, and then that's what it was running. So now just don't panic, really. Use Docker for what it is, and Swarm, right? Sorry, I had to put it there. And use Kubernetes with containerd. I guess even the transfer maybe to local containers that you might run to potentially inject, I would say not containers, but the images and everything inside the Kubernetes might even get simpler right now. But that's just me supposing things.
Okay. I want to close this piece out with one thing that it is going to affect is any Docker in Docker build pattern, which I use actually with my GitLab images, where stuff gets built with Docker inside of a larger Docker environment. And the solution for that, which I can't quite highlight because their formatting is weird, is to use one of the alternative in-cluster build solutions like Kaneko, Image, and Builda. And later on today, in the links that go out for stuff that we just didn't get on the show today, is going to be a link to Shipwright. And I'll actually just pull that up really quick so y'all can see it.
Nice.
Shipwright.io is a framework for building container images on Kubernetes that supports, where's their GitHub repo? That directly supports S2I, Buildpacks, Builda, and Kaneko. So if you aren't sure what container image building solution you want for your Kubernetes cluster, just go deploy this, and then you can do whatever you want. So consider that. And yeah, and stay tuned, because that's another thing that, is going to be exciting for the whatever CI/CD stuff is using Docker and Docker. And yeah. All right, we're at the top of the hour. We still got to do tool of the day. Nuno, thank you so much for joining me today. Anything you want to say in parting before I boot you off the show?
Thank you, Adrian. Swarm is the best tool, distraction points, hopefully. And
Swarm for life.
no, thank you very much. It was really fun. Thank you.
Yeah, this was great. You are welcome back anytime. And since only 2 or 3 people are selecting themselves to bring, to come on the hot seat, I imagine we'll see you on here again really soon. So thank you very much, my friend. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to mute you, and I'll talk to you later. All right, let's wrap that piece up, and let me hang up from Nuno there. No, Discord, I don't care to rate the thing. And of course, we're going to go a couple minutes long because we do. So today's show had an average rating of 4 coffees, and that's great. And what we need now is the tool of the day. Where's my little stinger for that? Dum, dum, dum. Tool of the day. My name is Kubernetes. Gold Pinger, which is actually Gold Pinger, but it's Goldfinger, James Bond, get it? It's my best Sean Connery. Love it. Gold Pinger. This makes calls between its instances. It runs as a daemon set in your Kubernetes cluster, and it checks the latency and communication between nodes in your cluster, and then it exports metrics to Prometheus and draws pretty graphs. You can also have it, wow, I can hear out of both ears now. That's great. You can also have it monitor some external stuff. Where's that? So you can see latency between nodes and external things. This is great for visualizing and triggering alerts on, latency related issues or communication problems between your nodes. This is from Bloomberg, and yeah, so you can clean it up a little bit here. It has a really pretty mandala that it puts in the background there. Can you see that? You can kind of see that. You see my face get all big in the camera. So this is from Bloomberg. They use it, and then they've got some Grafana dashboards that they export, and then great documentation on how to wire this up with Alert Manager. And they introduce you to Powerful Seal, which I'm not going to show you today, but look for that in a future tool of the day. So that's it. Today's tool of the day, Gold Pinger. Right, Drew. I can't do straight up raw Sean Connery. All right, we got to get out of here because it's late and we got to go to work, right? So that's all for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to Nuno for joining me in the hot seat. Links to everything I talk about on the show go up in the free community side at community.cncn.io after the show ends. So all the stuff I told you is coming that I didn't get on the show today. Just join the community site, and later on, after I publish the video, you get all of those. It's free. Like, why wait until tomorrow when you can watch the video with ads? Anyway, there's other stuff that the community gets. It's totally free. It's growing every day. Just come join us. If there's something you'd like for me to consider for the show, post it in the community site, mention me in the post, or ping me on Discord or Twitter. Thank you all for staying for this 33-minute show of Coffee and Cloud Native. Keep learning, stay safe, stay caffeinative. I'll see you in the next show.